Hello, graphic design. This will be a review of how to use the pen tool and shape builder. Remember, we're tracing superhero logos because it's really easy to tell if it's incorrect. So we're going to be making something that will look like this, but you guys are going to start by making a new document. So we're going to say File, New. We're going to make sure that this says inches instead of points. And we're going to make it 12 by 12. And then we're going to hit Create. Once you make a new document, you are going to upload the photo that you've downloaded from the Google Classroom. So on the Google Classroom, underneath Superman Pen Tool Review, I gave you a JPEG that we're going to be using as reference. So in order to get that JPEG onto this artboard, we're going to do File, Place. And then once you get to File, Place, you're going to look for where you saved that JPEG. So for me, it's in my pen tool folder, but for you, it's going to be wherever you saved it. All right, so I'm going to open my pen tool folder. Here's my JPEG that I need, and then I'm going to press Place. And then a little preview is going to show up. So your mouse will have like a little preview of what the JPEG will look like. And all you have to do is click once, and then it's going to insert that photo onto your artboard. So now we need to resize this photo so that it fills up most of our space, right? So I'm going to go to the corner, and I don't want to do this where it gets all stretched out, right? So in order to make it not stretched out, I need to hold Shift on my keyboard. And you can see because it's a JPEG, it's getting really pixelated the larger that I make it. So we're going to trace over it with vector lines. So once you've made your image about this big, go over here to the Properties tab and then look for the tab that says Layers. So layers are really useful for making sure that you don't move the photo underneath, right? So it says layer 1 here. And what I want you to do is click in this empty space between the eyeball and the color. And that empty space locks it. So now there's a little lock symbol there. So now I can't edit this photo. And that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. But in order to make a tracing of it, I need to come down here to the plus sign. So it'll look like a plus sign surrounded by a box. And that makes a new layer. So now I will be working in layer 2. And that's where I'm going to be putting all of my stuff to trace it. All right. So then I can switch back to my Properties tab. And I need to use my pen tool. So I'm going to come over here to my pen tool. And I'm going to start tracing, but I need to make sure that my fill is nothing. And I'm going to make my stroke like an obnoxious color so that way it's easy to see. And I'm also going to make it a little bit bigger. So I'm changing all of those things before I make any anchor points. And then let's go ahead and start by making all of those straight anchor points that are around the outside. So you can see there's this like diamond shape. So we're going to trace that first. So everywhere where you see a corner, you're going to put an anchor point. And then when you get back to the beginning, you'll see that little circle next to your pen tool, and that means you're about to complete your shape, right? So I'll go ahead and do that. And then if you look, there's another little diamond shape in here. So we're going to do that one as well. So it should be pretty similar to the previous diamond. And then again, I will close my shape. And I know that there's supposed to be an open gap here, but that's for when we use Shape Builder. So right now we're just doing our individual shapes, and then we will use Shape Builder to make them all go together. So now I need to trace this S, right? So I'm going to start up here. Just do your best to match the curves. So remember, in order to make a curved line, you need to click and drag. So I matched this curve here. And now this next curve is going to be a little bit wonky unless I fix it, right? So I need to hold down Alt on my keyboard to get to my tool where I can move the handlebars. So this red line with the dot at the end of it, I'm gonna go to the dot at the end and I'm gonna move it down. So that way I can edit where that curve is gonna go. So I can put another curve right here. And then again, I will have to move that handlebar. So I need to hold Alt and move that handlebar this way. So we're just doing our best to match the curves of this S. And if it's not absolutely perfect, we will go in and fix it in a minute. But I'm doing my best to get it as good as I can. And then this one is gonna need to be straight. So I'm gonna move that handlebar so that it will be straight. And then I can close that shape. So now I have a diamond on the outside, a diamond on the inside, and I've done my best to trace my S shape, right? So now what I need to do is do shape builder, right? So I'm gonna go with my selection tool and I'm just gonna click and drag over everything. And it's only going to select my lines that I've made and not the photo underneath, because remember, we've locked that photo underneath. So now that I have all of these lines that I've made selected, I can go to my shape builder tool, which is Shift M on my keyboard, and you'll see that they all get highlighted to be their own shapes, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click and drag to connect my S and the diamonds so that they're all one shape. And then I also want these shapes on the inside to be their own shapes. So I'm just gonna click once inside of those. So that way they're their own shapes that I can change the color of later, right? So now it's looking pretty good, but there are some spaces that need to be fixed, right? So right here, it doesn't go as low as it needs to go. Right here, this curve looks really weird. So in order to fix that, I'm gonna go with my direct selection tool, or the A on my keyboard, and I'm going to move those anchor points or those paths so that they look better. So when you do this, that curve should be straight, right? So I need to convert that curve into a straight line instead. So if I go again to my anchor point tool or my convert tool, I should be able to click once on that anchor point and make it straight. And then I can go back to my direct selection tool and move it where it needs to go. But now this curve is messed up, right? So let's click on that guy and fix that curve. Looking pretty good. Let's fix this curve down here. So click on the anchor point so that you can see the handles. You might need to move the actual anchor point so that way it looks better. And then the reason why I'm getting a double line here is because there's also a shape on the inside, right? So there's two lines now. So I just need to make them match. All right, so now our Superman is looking a lot better. It looks almost perfect. Now we just need to change the colors. So let's select this guy in the outside. And we're gonna make the inside of it red and the outline of it yellow. So we'll make the fill red, make the stroke yellow. And then we're gonna click on all of these shapes on the inside. And we will change those to be yellow. So in order to select all of those shapes at the same time, I'm gonna hold Shift and click on all of them. So that way I can select only the places that I want to change the color. And I'll change those to yellow. Looks like we also need to get rid of the stroke, so let's do that. Because the stroke was that really annoying orange, so let's change the stroke to be nothing. And then last but not least, we need to, there's an extra line there. Where is that line? All right. Now we need to do the blue background. So remember, in order to do the blue background, we're just gonna make a square, and then the size of our artboard is 12 by 12. And then I'm gonna press OK. And I want the fill to be navy or blue and the stroke to be nothing. And then I need to move that so that it's on my artboard. And then in order to make it where I can see my Superman logo, I'm gonna right click, arrange, send to the back. And now we're done. So remember, when you're using the pen tool, you can use Shape Builder and shapes as well in order to get the images that you want to use on your movie poster. So hopefully this was helpful, and I'll see you guys next time.